So Nike shoe releases may be delayed, but you cannot deny that they look good. The new Asia Wilson kicks, I think, look fantastic. To be quite honest with you, not what I would wear, right? Like that. I'm not gonna be rocking the hot pink per se myself, but nonetheless, I like the colorway here that was displayed and shared with everybody, and I think they're clean. They look clean. Here is Asia holding the shoe. Congratulations to her. Obviously, has to be a big moment in her career. Recognition for what she's accomplished so far. And you had Dawn Staley rocking the kicks as well, fresh out of the box. Just got them. Of course, this was announced. She teased it last night, and they came out. And Nike, when you look at the Sabrinas and now the Asias, they've done a good job with the women's lines. They are the kind of shoes, if that was made in when it's made in different colors, the kind of thing that is unisex, just a clean design, obviously, a nice rollout for Asia Wilson as well. But the Sabrinas are the most worn shoe in the NBA amongst players who still are living. The Kobe's are number one, of course, our RIP to Kobe Bryant. And I bought both of my kids Sabrinas. They're the cleanest basketball shoe on the market, in my opinion. And these Asias, I mean, I could see just copping them for my daughter, just from a stylistic standpoint. They look good, and they bode well for what Caitlin Clark's signature shoe is going to look like, because, of course, Clark is going to get to consult on this, just like Asia did with her logo and everything else. So salute to Asia Wilson. She ate with these. I think they're nice. I think, just on design, they should sell well. And obviously, I'm sure she's going to promote the hell out of them. That removes, from a player standpoint, clearly Asia Wilson deserved her own line of sneakers, and the more the merrier. That should be the attitude for everybody. The more the merrier. As the WNBA grows, more and more players should get to tout their brand, profit off their brand, and the like. I'll be honest, I did not like the way that Asia played into the whole shoe thing when it first happened, and people were debating, why is Clark getting a Nike deal when apparently she knew she had the deal the whole time. So I didn't love that. Obviously, there have been other things. That the whole Kelsey Plum comment that blew up last year was amongst the most obnoxious things I've seen someone say to somebody else, but that's irrelevant. She's a great player, right? And I'm almost prefacing that because I know those going to be some of the comments. But she deserves her shoe, and her shoe looks good, and she's a dominant player, right? I don't have to like everything everybody says or everybody's game. It will be interesting to see how these wind up performing out on the marketplace, considering how well the Sabrinas have done. How much is it about the position a player plays, the style of their game versus just how clean the shoe looks. And I bring that up in comparison. I've referenced like Allen Iverson and Tim Duncan in the past, because Tim Duncan did not sell like Allen Iverson, even though he was a better player than Allen Iverson, because of the way he played and the market he appealed to. Iverson versus Duncan. People weren't rushing out to cop the Duncans. Just is what it is. So, but I do think you'll see a groundswell of support from people who've been following Asia for a long time. But it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Regardless, I think they're great looking shoes. I do. And I think it's a moment where she deserves to be celebrated for it. And she responded back to like an internet troll about it. And I get it. Because it's kind of messed up for the first thing somebody to say when somebody's celebrating a moment like that to be, somebody else is going to sell more, or, you get a sympathy shoe. I think that was what the person said. You got a sympathy shoe. And, it's kind of uncalled for. It is uncalled for. Now you can just ignore it, of course. That's an easy thing to do, is just ignore it. But Asia Wilson does deserve the shoe, did earn the shoe. There's no question about that. And hopefully it does well for her, because the more all of these things do well, the better for everybody. So that the next wave of players, it looks like the Paige Becker shoes were successful. We'll see what happens with other players as they come into the league. But a whole new market has been opened up here. A whole new market has been opened up here. And I think they did a good job with what Asia's got coming out. I do. She's got some other stuff apparently too from apparel. Obviously leaning a little bit more into the female branding, which maybe makes sense. I don't know. I'm sure they did some market research, but I'm not going to be buying that, but I don't mind the looks of it. And it's a whole collection for Asia, which is cool. The slides and everything else that goes along with it. And you're looking at a multi-time champion, MVP, fresh off a big time MVP season. And yeah, congratulations. Here was the post I was looking for. I knew it was out there. This was her reaction. They gave her a sympathy shoe. No, I earned this collection. Try again. And she did. But I hate the fact that, like, I hope that didn't get to her in the moment, right? Like, because this is something everybody should be happy for her for. She didn't just show up out of nowhere and get a shoe. She just had her jersey retired at South Carolina. She's dominated the league for a long, long time. Obviously, things have changed since she came into the league in the way it's covered, and I think it's benefited her. Like, to be honest, if you're talking about the short list of players who I think have benefited the most from the explosion in the league since Caitlin Clark's arrival, A'ja Wilson is right up there, if not at the top. I mean, I think the next wave of players benefited a ton. Obviously, Angel benefited coming in at the same time as Clark with the rivalry with Clark. But of the existing players, it's probably A'ja and maybe Nafisa Collier, I would say, who have gotten the most attention that they didn't necessarily get before. And again, they were deserving of it before. They just happen to be getting it now. And that's part of that rising tide thing that I talked about plenty. But overall, great looking shoe. Nike's done a good job with the shoes that they've released thus far. It bodes well for their future releases, like with Caitlin Clark. And, the idea that there's competition too is also silly, because on the men's side and the NBA side, you never heard of that, right? Like, you never heard this player has a shoe, so this player can't have a shoe. No, they can all have shoes. If you're a good enough player and you've got a fan base, you should have a shoe. I want to see the wealth get spread. There's nothing saying people can't buy multiple shoes or can't choose which shoes they wish to buy. So I give an A+ for the A1. I do. Again, that colorway ain't gonna be what I'm sporting, but it looks good. It does.